said the leaked conversation with the founder and the general overseer of Living Faith Church, aka Winners Chapel, was doctored and completely taken out of context and distorted in a desperate attempt to rope him and have him prosecuted. Media aids
a proper application. But for somebody to just take your telephone conversation and be distributing it all over the place, whether it is doctored or not, once the intent is to embarrass you and expose you to ridicule in the eyes of right-thinking members of society, then of course you can act. And I think that, Mr. Peter Obi should not shy away from, taking action against those.
Hello friends, thank you once again for visiting my channel. The Lord bless you. If it's your first time on my channel, I want to say a big thank you to you for stopping by to watch my videos. And please kindly do me a favor by subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so, and turn up the notification bell. That way you always be notified whenever a new video is being uploaded. Thank you. And to all my returning subscribers, I want to say a big thank you to you. I love you from the depth of my heart. God bless you. All right, let's dive into the topic proper. Just before I show you the video, the full clip for you to watch, I want to drop some few explanations here. You see, right from the inception of APC in 2015, there are desperations, there are manipulations, especially during this election. It has always proven to me how senseless some of them could be. This way somebody can be so manipulative. You look at them as if they have a head without brain. All right, now imagine what desperation has led them to do. You go to the extent of using NCC, Nigeria Communication, Commission, using them to invade somebody's privacy by getting at his phone conversation with the aim to rubbish him. Any part of the world, that is a grave offense. I mean grave offense. Grave offense. I'm not just saying offense. It's a grave offense. Even here in South Africa, there's a law that was a law that was signed. There's something that was signed into law. I think last year in that 2022 or 2021. It is called POPI Act. POPI Act simply means Protection of Personal Information Act. Now, even if I snap just a picture with you, you have no right to even post it on social media without my consent. If you do, I can sue you. Even if it's a business. Okay, now. So this law is very strong. Now, normally, I've been donating blood here in South Africa for many years. So since the law came on board, I think last year, before you donate blood, something must sign to give them authorization for them to take your blood for some. You understand? So your right, your privacy is highly protected. Anyway, even in abroad, like in the US, if I'm making call with you and you recorded it without my consent, I can sue you. So similarly, that was done to Peter Obi was done to me recently. Okay, I was somewhere and my child was there, my first son. It was with, if the tablet is using, I also use it. Now, my WhatsApp conversation was there, which I stopped using as of June last year. Now, one of the human beings that was there took my conversation from there with my younger sister, which actually took place 12th of June last year. This conversation had nothing to do with this unscrupulous element. So while my son was dragging the phone with this human being, the social worker cited them and he called them. Please, I'm sorry, I'm bringing you guys into this. He called them to find out what was going on. So this mother of all liars lied to the social worker that the conversation that transpired there between me and my younger sister was actually something that was instigating the child against her. Jesus. I wasn't there. It was the boy that told me what transpired. The social worker herself never told me. When I heard that, I was furious. I was terribly upset. I wrote their message. I went there. I warned them. I told them, was this the reason I was not around? This human being had the right to invade my privacy, to go through my conversation, and the conversation she's trying to use to cause chaos. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. This was a conversation between me and my younger sister. She was telling me of a revelation she had about my elder brother's daughter. It has nothing to do with her at all. So not only did she invade my privacy, she always also tried to use it to cause confusion, to pass on. I have to remind the social workers, are you guys aware of Poppy? And they are very much aware that, so they were even very careful. Let me not to take the case up, because I've taken it up. It would have implicated them, because my phone was there with the child. So I expected them to. Let me not go too much into this. So the point I'm trying to say here is this. Anywhere in the world, what has transpired between this Peter Obi and Bishop Oyedepo is very obvious. It is a NCC, Nigerian Communication Commission, that's involved in this thing. Yes, bringing out somebody a private conversation with the aim to malign the person. This is a serious offense. It's a criminal offense. So if I were Peter Obi, I would advise him to take it up. Today there was something God showed me. See, with the way all this, number one, who is in charge of SCC? Is it not Issa Patabi? All of them are Buhari people. All of them are the people of you understand? So what am I trying to say? More allegations are going to be cooked up against Peter Obi. You will hear now. You people should not remember. You people should not forget that this guy Emelefi, when they were trying to fight Naira this and that, they charge him for something that had to do with that was involved with I don't want to call it because of YouTube. These Boko guys, what they are doing, right? They say it was involved. He was sponsoring department of Boko guys. I'm controlling my tongue because there are something YouTube pick up in my flag my video, so I don't want to call the name. That was why were they doing it? Because of Naira. When the guy came out to the country, as the thing not died down, how can DSS, how can these people, an organization, an institution that's supposed to serve the people, that be joining a certain political party to frame up Nigeria? God will save us. So you guys should get ready. More allegations are going to be cooked up against His Excellency Peter Obi. You guys just watch. It is well. God bless you guys. Please endeavor to give this video a thumbs up. Please, I want you to share this video as much as you can. Please let the people also get informed. This is about His Excellency Peter Obi. All right. God bless you guys. Thank you. Please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends and loved ones.
Has said the leaked conversation with the founder and the general overseer of Living Faith Church, aka Winners Chapel, was doctored and completely taken out of context and distorted in a desperate attempt to rope him and have him prosecuted. Media aide to Peter Obi, Valentine Obi-APC, says that there has been a plot to search and review all Obi's calls in the last 3 years with a view to seeing if he mentioned interim government or anything that will make All Progressive Congress prosecute him for treason and if they take over. According to him, the badly distorted leaked conversation with Bishop Oyedepo is the latest antics in effort to nail his principal. In the audio that has since gone viral on social media, Obi was heard appealing to Oyedepo to help mobilize Christian voters ahead of the election, especially those in the north-central states of Kwara, Kogi, and Niger, declaring that the election was a religious war. Meanwhile, the Obi-APC Presidential Campaign Council has also dismissed the leaked audio, describing it as deep-fake audio file aimed at promoting religious tension in the country. In a statement jointly issued by head Obi-APC Media, Dironi Fadi, and the chief spokesperson of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Yunus Atanko, it's alleged that the APC was behind the leaked audio. So there are a couple of stories. Dr. Bate, I'm sure you want to jump on this then.
Well, number one, the election is over. Well, apart from the supplementary elections on April 15 in certain constituencies that have not yet been concluded. The post-election phase has begun. Cases are in court. We have over 100 cases already in the various tribunals. There will probably be more. The judiciary has provided a list of judges that will be involved in this. What is important is that, look, Nigerians should learn not to continue to heat up the polity. The cases that are in court will be determined according to the law. And that is why we keep calling on the judiciary to ensure that justice is done and that all parties concerned should respect the outcome of the ruling by the various courts. There is room for appeal. What is disturbing is what happened, this last weekend about allegations of a leaked audio of a private conversation between Mr. Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, and Bishop David Oyedepo of the Living Faith, Church, the Winners Chapel. Well, you can't blame the Labour Party for saying that, look, it looks like there is an attempt to monitor all the conversations held on Mr. Peter Obi's phone in the last 1 year as an attempt to set him up for one reason or the other. And specifically in one of the statements that was issued, the National Communications Commission was mentioned in this regard. I think that the NCC, in order to lower tension in the country, will need to come out and say that, look, this is not true. It's also important to note that, this could generate fear within the community with people thinking their phone conversations are no longer safe. Because if you look at the content there, the allegation is that, Mr. Peter Obi was using religion, was mobilizing on the basis of religion. Well, isn't it the case that almost every candidate tried to use whatever they have to their own advantage? After all, in the All Progressives Congress, the issue was about Muslim ticket, and the fact that the party was running and appealing to the Muslim community. Okay, even if Mr. Peter Obi appealed to his own Christian community, how is that an offense? As long as no law has been violated in that regard. But what is even more important is that Bishop Oyedepo has come forward, has issued a statement to say that he was not involved in any partisan politics, and that he had no affiliation with any, political party. But as a man of the cloth, as a religious leader, it was within his province, within his responsibility to pray for, anybody that approaches him. And in that audio, if you listen to it very well, he kept saying, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus. So, I don't see how that is a problem, because even if it was a Muslim that had come to him, he would still give him hope, which is in line with Christian eschatology. It will still encourage the person. So, but, the election's over. I think we should just focus on the judicial process and not heat up the polity in any way. All of that, back and forth between APC spokespersons, Labour Party spokespersons. Look, these spokespersons should find something else to do. The campaign is over. Earlier on we were talking about inauguration, new government, and the cases in court. So if people still have some energy amongst them to cause, conflict, no. We do not want conflict in Nigeria. Elections should not be war. Everybody should know when to cut it off. And Mr. Peter Obi himself has said, look, in seeking what he calls the mandate, he will go through legal and constitutional process. And that's what is important, in my view.
Right. A couple of things. And like you said, rightly, a reaction to the message, because this went viral over the weekend. There were many reactions. The APC was, fighting and saying, yes, this is it, pushing the religious agenda and all of that. The Labour Party reacted to it. There's been, I think, 3 reactions. The first reaction was from Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, that said that was taken out of context. The second reaction was from Debo Onifade, Dero Onifade, that talked about the fact that, yes, this was, put together and all of that, doctor to suit a narrative. Then this reaction we have. So there's been different reactions as regards this. But a couple of questions we should ask. Number one, people's conversations being monitored, being taken, being put out there. There are laws of the land, and as enshrined in the Constitution, Dr. Abati, you are the lawyer, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Section 37 of the Nigeria Constitution talks about right to privacy, if my memory serves me right. and the fact that people have a right to be able to make their private conversations. So people taking those conversations, what does the Nigerian Communication Commission know about all of this? How did the access go to be able to take these conversations? Let's ask those questions. Also, the tape itself. We need to be able to subject it to empirical forensics, forensic that is holistic, that talks about, voice distortion, that talks about also possibilities of deep fakes and things like that. Although some media group has taken it through that and they saw that there were not too much deep fakes in it. But were the conversations distorted? What was the extent to which it was doctored? What was the bare raw file analysis of the conversation? These are questions we should ask. Leading up to the last election, there was a big talk about religion that was occasioned by the Muslim ticket of the APC. And since then, there was a lot of back and forth. Yes, it is not right for leaders to pitch along religious stance because, yes, every politician uses the sentiment of religion and ethnic bias. But the truth is, it doesn't make it right. For us to be able to build a country, we need to build a country of holistic competence and speak more about what our leaders can do for us and the capacity they have to be able to execute the things they have written in their manifesto. Because when you look, all of us that bicker about religion and bias and ethnic bias in politics, we forget that poverty does not know tribe. Poverty does not select and say, oh, you are an Hausa man. Because you're an Hausa man, I will not come your way. You are a Yoruba man. Because you're a Yoruba man, or you're a Christian or Muslim, I will not come your way. Poverty is as a result of bad leadership. Darren Osamoglu wrote in his book, Why Nations Fail. He said nations fail because their leaders make them fail. Pure and simple. The failure of Nigeria is a reflection of leadership. What is poverty? Lack. What causes lack? Unequitable distribution of resource. The clear analogy is some have food, they cannot eat. Some can eat but have no food. Some can eat but they have no food. But some have food. And that's the clear problem of poverty. So those are the things that bind all of us. Nigeria has become a country where the vast population is united in poverty. The bigger conversation, rather than the ethnic and the religious bickering, is the conversation about how we can remove poverty from our lives. Because it's actually empirically proven you can bring people out of poverty when you do the right things as regards governance. So I think that's the bulk of the conversation. And going forward, we would like to talk to political surrogates and spokespersons. It is not time to overheat the polity. Because in all of this, we've also had very, very tough incendiary statements here and there, and all sorts of political spin going on. And the political spin will involve deepfakes. So when people started talking about deepfakes, I wasn't surprised because I remember on this same table on What's Trending, I told Oji that deepfakes will herald our political process. I was proven right. They will use all sorts of means to get an advantage. But the question is, does it take away the pain and suffering of what is happening to Nigerians? So those are the things we should look. We are all united one way or the other in poverty. We are all united in the effect of inflation, both rich and poor.
Of his telephone conversation between the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and the father in the Lord of the Winners Chapel, Bishop David Oyedepo. One of the things that will remain to be done will be, since the Labour Party, some spokespersons for the Labour Party insist that they know the persons who leaked the audio, right? The thing to do, if they know those persons, is in fact to commence legal action against them. Because it is your right to privacy of memos, of correspondence, of your house, of telephone conversation is a fundamental right, guaranteed not just in the Constitution, other laws, subsidiary laws, even the Child Rights Act, even Section 14 of the Freedom of Information Act of 2015, even consumer protection legislation, and even the guidelines on data protection and privacy in Nigeria, protect you from your conversation from being leaked. The only circumstance in which your conversation can be, made available, it will be under a legal proceeding, and there will be a proper application. But for somebody to just take your telephone conversation and be distributing it all over the place, whether it is doctored or not, once the intent is to embarrass you and expose you to ridicule in the eyes of right-thinking members of society, then of course you can act. And I think that, Mr. Peter Obi should not shy away from, taking action against those persons who may have leaked the conversation if he knows them. Because one of his spokespersons has said, oh, maybe there's a conspiracy of the Nigerian Communications Commission in this regard. So that's why the matter should be investigated. Because if telephone conversations are routinely leaked, you will blow up the country. There are some conversations you have on phone. It may not be something political or religious. There are certain conversations that able-bodied men have on phone that could cause crisis. No, that's why everybody should be careful.
Ruben, you are very interested in this protection of this right.
It sounds funny, but
that's how it goes.
That's how much of a threat it could become to society.
Yeah. I mean, very well said, Dr. Abati. And like I said before concerning this, I think a total forensic examination should be done as regards, the conversation and everything that happened. Like I said before, prior to this time, it's political season. You will have a lot of AI manipulated, doctored materials and all of that. People will cut conversation to suit their purpose. And that's why I said in the forensic examination, there should be a check for voice distortions. People would be able to cut and paste and things like that and all of that, like the allegation the Labour Party made. But the APC is saying otherwise, that, it's a reflection of who the person is, blah, 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 and all of that. But I think to a very large extent, the right to private conversations is enshrined in our Constitution, Section 37.
And Obi is actually accusing the APC
and is accusing the APC. And that's why, at this point in time, we need, more investigators, forensic investigators, to be able to ascertain, and like Dr. Sabati said, probably put a legal, conversation as regards that. Because if people are not nipped in the bud, it will only continue. Yeah. And because there's a reason why it continues, because people say, after the person apologizes and say, let's not blow this out of proportion. But it doesn't stop the fact that the person did do it. And anybody that is in this case. But I don't know the full details of this case, so I cannot comment. And, those proof, those claims by the Labour Party will only be asserted when they have an independent forensic, examination report that is released and they point out all what happened, which can be done by forensic independent experts. Another story I would like